our friend Stephan, who has been on the show recently, one of the biggest personal finance YouTubers out there. He's big into real estate. That's how he made his millions. He's a super young guy, maybe a year or two younger than us, and he posted a video on his YouTube channel titled, "My Tenant Just Trashed My House." And we've got a video of what the inside of that house looks like. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can peruse that, but we'll give you the play-by-play. It's not pretty. It looks like a college dorm room tenant.
Oh, look at that.
Just crap everywhere. Kitchen's destroyed. He's walking through, pointing everything out.
And so these people just moved out? Is that what
I hope to God they don't live there anymore. I'm guessing they were evicted.
Look at all of that stuff in the closet. Oh.
It looks like a hoarder nightmare situation.
I'm wondering if they moved out and then they left all of this in the rental and they're like, see ya.
It's so gross.
That's what happened, James is saying.
James is agreeing.
Oh, man.
That's
a lot of work.
The dark reality of
Trash
passive
bags
income.
Everywhere. Stuff all in every cabinet.
Oh, poor
Graham. In every drawer. Oh.
You know what's extra sad? This was a long-term tenant of his. 10 years, he never raised the rent because they were such a good tenant up until they apparently weren't.
Well, until they left/didn't because they left all their crap behind.
The nightmare just continues. Just stuff everywhere. I mean, the amount of he's going to need a cleanup crew just to deal with this mess.
Yes. Well, you take the security deposit if you ever got one 10 years ago.
That's for sure. That will start to cover it.
Keep that.
Whew. So the advice around real estate investing, ours sounds insane, and it's pay cash for your investment properties because you're not factoring in risk.
Yep.
And the hope is I'm going to put nothing down and I'm going to charge them more rent than the mortgage is worth. I'm going to take the spread and I'm going to make $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year, right? That's usually the margins when people call into the show and they have debt.
After they've done everything, yeah.
After all of their expenses,
yes.
You're not making a full-time income from one property.
That's right. So starting off small, and, obviously this market looks a whole lot different, and it's hard to get a good deal, but mostly for me, buying real estate, when you go into invest into it, the money's made at the sale. Like when you buy a property, that's where the equity should be. You should be able to get
got a deal on that.
Such a good deal.
You didn't pay market rate.
No, so you
MSRP.
already have automatic equity. And start small. And again, I know this was in a different world, but even for Winston and myself, my husband and I, when we bought a condo, it was in short sale in Nashville over in Nippers Corner area, if you know where that is, the Old Hickory Boulevard and I don't know, but you Nashville people will know. And we bought it in short sale. And I mean, it was a few tens of thousands of dollars back then. It wasn't a lot, and it was kind of it was nasty. So we had to go in and kind of fix it up, and we rented it and kept it for about 8 years and got so much equity and ended up selling it to help pay for the house that we built. And it was a great experience, mostly because we paid cash. We got a deal on the sale. We didn't go big, right? It was just a condo, but it was in a growing part of Nashville. It wasn't really in a hot area, but it was in a growing area. And then we were able to use that asset later for our primary residence when we wanted to build and helped use that to fund it. So all that to say, it can be done well if you start small. It doesn't have to be big and grand. And right now, it's probably not the market to find a great deal.
No.
There might be some foreclosures and short sales coming up, but as of now, it's probably not a great. It's not a great market to get a great deal.
Yeah, and a lot of people are looking into what's called house hacking, which is not really a hack. You just buy a house and then someone else lives there too, and they help cover the mortgage. So it's not a new concept. And you've seen a lot of people want to buy duplexes and triplexes.
And live in one.
And rent the others out. But guess what? You're not the first one to think of that. And so they're actually in really high demand, which means people are going to be willing to pay more than you are to get that property, which means you're not getting a deal. So it's always, it sounds better in theory and on paper than it is in reality. And you're not thinking about, well, what if the HVAC goes out? And also, I have an HVAC too I've got to worry about. So you better have, that house has to have its own emergency fund to cover those repairs. Right. And you better have good landlord insurance to cover more than just the property. There's a lot of risk involved that can help cover. And on top of that, you can't guarantee there's going to be a renter.
No.
And you can't guarantee they're going to pay and take care of your property. And we saw this with COVID. There's a moratorium on evictions.
Yep.
So you could just not pay your rent and the landlord can't do anything about it.
Yes. So, again, we love real estate when it comes to investing. I think it's a really smart thing. I think when you're to the point that you're diversifying more than just retirement accounts, I think it's great. I mean, because it goes up in value. It is a great investment, but it's just you want to move a whole lot slower, 10 times slower than what the culture is saying right now. The culture is like, get in. It's not a big deal. And then if you have your primary mortgage and now this mortgage, and then someone doesn't pay, and then the HOA comes in. I mean, it can be a disaster, and it's a part-time job. I mean, when you have tenants, like, you're at their beck and call if something happens as the landlord. And so you just have to know all of that going in. So it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication. It's worth it if you do it the right way. But that's the problem, is that it seems like everyone's fast tracking it, and you're adding risk when you go into debt for it.
And even paying a cut to a property management company, it's still not passive. There's still work to be done. There's still a lot of communication back and forth, and you got to keep your eye on these properties. I've got family friends that didn't do their due diligence when screening tenants, and they didn't have a bank account, and they stopped paying rent, and then they can't evict them, and then they've set up drug rooms in there. You just don't know what these tenants are doing. It's a true story, Rachel. That's all I can disclose at this time.
No.
But Graham's video is about 10 minutes long, but we just wanted to play you his quick takeaway at the end of this horrific situation. Let's see that clip.
I gotta say, even with a management company, owning a rental property is not truly passive income, and it requires a consistent amount of work if you're expected to be successful at it.
There you go. That sums it up.
In a nutshell.
That sums it up. Thank you so much, Graham. And congrats on all the success he's had in the real estate world.
Not with your current house, though.
Not with
this
one.
Sorry about that.
Even when you think they're a great tenant, and we want to believe the best of people, as landlords.
There's great tenants out there. I mean, we tell you people, everyone listening, like, rent if you have debt and all that. So, like, I think renting is great, and there are great tenants out there. But
no one treats it as well as you are. You would.
No.
It's not their house.
For sure. It's just
they
like
don't live there.
Like a rental car. When we travel and we get a rental car, you just can. I don't know. Rental cars, you gotta just.
Rachel just throwing wrappers in the back.
You just drive it like you wouldn't drive your home.
And your minivan has no goldfish on the floor. You keep that thing clean.
Spick and span.
Wow.
Spick and span.
Well, there you go. If you want to get into real estate, by the way, this is the time and place to do it. You got to be completely debt free, home and everything, and then save up cash and buy that investment property. And I know you're like, George, that's it may be a 10-year journey. But guess what? Your risk is so minimal comparatively to having a giant mortgage, and you've got to make that payment every month to that mortgage lender, whether or not your tenant pays you or not. So that's a scary situation to be in. So do this wisely, and don't just blindly follow some guy on TikTok who's doing the Burr method, and we're just going to buy with nothing down, and then we're going to refinance it, do the cash out, and put that on the next one. It sounds so fancy, and in reality, it's how a lot of people go broke and stay broke. So don't do this stuff. Do it the slow way. Be a crock pot in a world full of microwaves. Because it only takes one extra second in that microwave, Rachel, for that popcorn to burn. And everyone thinks, my popcorn's not going to burn. No.
Mine's good to go. Never know.
Don't do it. Crock pot it. Rachel did it this week with chili. Turned out great, didn't it?
So good.
There you go, America. This is The Ramsey Show.